You walk into your doctor's office feeling perfectly fine. You get your blood work back, and the numbers stare at you with what feels like a clean bill of health. Your triglycerides are perfectly within range. Your total cholesterol looks acceptable, and you walk out the door thinking you have dodged a bullet of heart disease. But what if I told you that the very test you are relying on is missing the most dangerous, silent killer currently circulating in your bloodstream? Before we dive deep into this hidden threat, please take a quick moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you value your health. And go ahead and comment below with your latest triglyceride result, so we can discuss the nuance of these numbers together. I am Dr. Harrison Blake, and for the past 15 years, I have dedicated my career to dissecting the complex relationship between our daily habits and our long-term biological survival. My goal is to strip away the confusion of modern medicine and provide you with the actionable, science-backed truth that keeps you energized, sharp, and protected well into your later years. We have been conditioned to obsess over the big numbers on a lipid panel, but this obsession keeps us blind to a phenomenon that is wreaking havoc on the arteries of millions of people who think they are safe. You see, when you get a standard lipid panel, the lab reports your triglycerides, which are essentially the fats floating around in your blood from your last meal. We are told that as long as those stay low, our heart is fine, but that is a massive, dangerous oversimplification. There is a silent fat that doesn't show up on a standard test, a type of particle so small and dense that it slips right past the traditional metrics, acting like a Trojan Horse in your cardiovascular system. These small, dense, low-density lipoprotein particles are not just floating. They are infiltrating your arterial walls, oxidizing, and creating plaque buildup that can exist for decades without triggering a single symptom until the day a blockage finally becomes critical. This is not about the fat you see on the outside, and it is not just about the fat you see in your blood tests. It is about the quality of the lipoproteins themselves and the hidden inflammation that acts as the glue holding this process together. Let us look at why your standard test is failing you. Think of your blood like a highway. Your triglycerides are like large, slow-moving trucks. We track them because when there are too many, they cause congestion. But the real danger isn't just the large trucks. It is the tiny, aggressive motorcycles weaving in and out of traffic at high speed. Those motorcycles are the small, dense, low-density lipoprotein particles. When your body is dealing with metabolic stress, it starts producing these smaller, tighter packages of cholesterol. They are so small that they can easily penetrate the lining of your arteries, where they get trapped. Once trapped, your immune system views them as foreign invaders, leading to a localized inflammatory response that turns a healthy vessel into a hardened, narrowed artery. Even if your total cholesterol is fine, if you're dominated by these tiny, dense particles, your risk of heart event is significantly higher than someone with higher numbers who carries them in larger, more buoyant particles. This is the missing piece of the longevity puzzle that your checkup is likely ignoring. But how do you know if you are at risk if your doctor isn't telling you? This is where the curiosity of the human body takes over. We look at the ratio of your triglycerides to your HDL or high-density lipoprotein. This simple calculation provides a window into your metabolic health. If your triglycerides are 150 but your HDL is only 30, that ratio is 5, which is a screaming red flag for production of those dangerous, small, dense particles. Conversely, if your triglycerides are 100 but your HDL is 80, you are looking at a completely different, much safer metabolic profile. The goal isn't just to lower the fat. It is to shift your body's manufacturing process away from these tiny, aggressive particles and toward larger, safer ones. This happens through the way you manage your blood sugar spikes, the specific types of fats you consume, and the way you incorporate movement into your day to keep your metabolism flexible. Consider the role of insulin, the master conductor of your metabolic orchestra. When you consume a diet high in processed carbohydrates and sugars, your insulin levels stay chronically elevated. This is not just a problem for diabetics. It is a problem for anyone who wants to avoid arterial clogging. High insulin signals your liver to produce more of those small, dense particles and simultaneously suppresses the enzyme that clears them from your blood. You are essentially creating a perfect storm for plaque buildup. The tragedy is that many people who pride themselves on eating a low-fat diet are inadvertently replacing that fat with refined carbohydrates, which only exacerbates the production of the very particles they think they are avoiding. I have seen countless patients over the last 15 years who cut out eggs, butter, and steak, only to find their lipid profiles getting worse because they replaced those foods with bread, pasta, and sugary snacks. The science is clear. The source of the clog is often not the fat you eat, but the sugar you process. You might be wondering if there's a quick fix, a pill, or a specific supplement that can instantly reverse this. While there are pharmacological tools, they are often just placeholders for the necessary lifestyle shifts. True, lasting reduction of cardiovascular risk comes from stabilizing your glucose response. This means focusing on fiber, healthy fats, and protein, and timing your meals in a way that gives your system a rest from constant insulin exposure. It is about the quality of the fuel you put in your engine. When you switch your fuel source from refined sugar to healthy fats and proteins, your body naturally shifts its production of lipoproteins toward the larger, fluffier, and safer variety. This is the physiological equivalent of clearing a clogged pipe by changing the consistency of the fluid running through it. It is elegant, it is simple, and it is entirely within your control. Think about your daily energy levels. Do you feel that mid-afternoon slump? That is not just a personality trait or a sign of getting older. That is a metabolic signal that your body is struggling to manage fuel. When you are in that state, your heart and your arteries are paying the price. By stabilizing your blood sugar, you don't just protect your arteries. You regain your ability to stay sharp and focused throughout the day. You stop being a slave to your next snack. This is why I emphasize that health is not a destination. It is a state of being that you cultivate through consistent daily choices. If you find yourself constantly tired or dealing with brain fog, take a look at your breakfast. If you are starting your day with a high glycemic sugar spike, you are setting yourself up for a day of oxidative stress that lasts long after the initial energy wears off. Now, I want to address the skeptics who say that cholesterol is all about genetics. While genetics do play a role in how your body handles cholesterol, they are not a death sentence. They are the hand you were dealt, but your lifestyle is how you play your cards. Even if you have a genetic predisposition for elevated cholesterol, your ability to influence the particle size and the inflammatory environment of your blood is massive. Through targeted dietary changes and consistent movement, most people can shift their cardiovascular risk profile significantly. We have spent decades demonizing the wrong things. We spent years fighting dietary cholesterol, while the real enemy, inflammation driven by insulin resistance, was allowed to run rampant in the background. It is time to look at the full picture. It is time to move beyond the shallow water of standard lipid panels and dive into the deep, meaningful metrics of metabolic health. In my 15 years of clinical practice, the most successful patients are those who stop looking for a shortcut and start looking for a better rhythm. They don't look for a miracle supplement. They look for a better way to live. They choose whole foods over processed ones. They prioritize strength training to improve their metabolic sync. And they manage their stress because cortisol, the stress hormone, is another major player in the elevation of blood sugar and the subsequent damage to your arteries. Every time you choose to go for a brisk walk after a meal, you are doing more for your blood vessels than almost any medication could do in isolation. That walk sensitizes your muscles to insulin, which clears the sugar from your blood before it can be turned into those dangerous, tiny, dense lipoproteins. It is a biological hack that costs nothing and delivers massive, compounding returns over time. You are probably asking yourself what you should do tomorrow morning. It starts with an audit of your habits. Look at what you are eating for breakfast. Look at whether you are sitting for 8 hours straight or finding ways to move every 60 minutes. Look at your sleep, because poor sleep quality is a known driver of insulin resistance. If you start small, shifting one habit at a time, you'll find that the cumulative effect is transformative. Your energy will return, your mind will clear, and most importantly, your arteries will be protected from the silent damage that standard tests often miss. The body is a remarkably resilient machine, but you have to give it the right inputs. You are the architect of your own biology, and it is never too late to start repairing the foundation. As we wrap up this discussion, I want you to remember that the goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. You don't need to change your entire life overnight, but you do need to start paying attention to the subtle signals your body is sending you. The silent fat is only silent if you refuse to listen. By understanding the relationship between your triglycerides, your HDL, and your insulin levels, You're already ahead of the curve. You are moving from a state of passive observation to active management, and that is where the magic of true health lies. We have only scratched the surface of what you can learn about your own internal engine. There are so many nuances to thyroid function, hormone balance, and chronic inflammation that we need to explore together. If you found this information eye-opening, consider sharing this video with one friend or family member who you know is worried about their heart health. You might be the person who helps them see past the surface-level numbers and toward a healthier, more vibrant future. Do not let these next few years pass you by while you remain in the dark about your own metabolic health. Take charge of your blood work. Ask your doctor for more detailed testing if you feel something isn't right, and reclaim your energy. You deserve to feel your best, to live without the anxiety of silent health risks, and to enjoy the longevity that comes from true, actionable understanding of your own physiology. I am committed to being your guide on this journey, bringing you the latest science, the most practical tips, and the motivation to keep pushing forward. If you have any specific questions about your own results, or if there's a topic you want me to break down in the next video, leave a comment below. I read as many as I can, and your questions help shape the future of this community. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment to your health. And I will see you in the next video, where we will dive even deeper into the secrets of a long, healthy life. Hit that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications so you never miss a breakdown, and let's keep building this knowledge base together. You have the power to change your trajectory today, and I am here to make sure you have the map to do it. Stay active, stay curious, and keep prioritizing your well-being. Your future self will thank you for the work you are putting in right now.